Hey guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. My name's Jen, and in today's video, we're going to make a geometric card out of paper scraps. Okay, I've been thinking about this project for a while, but basically I'm just going to give you a couple of different tips and techniques and ideas that I've come up with, and then you can be totally creative with your own process. Okay, so tip number one, pick a color palette ahead of time. My reasoning behind that is because we have so many scraps these days. Most of us have a lot of scraps. There are a lot of choices. So if you have a lot of scraps with a lot of different colors, a color palette will narrow it down right from the get-go, and it will enhance your creativity. So for my card today, I've decided on a palette of blushes and grays, and they look great together. They are absolutely a beautiful combination. So that's what we're going to use. Tip number two, have some sort of inspiration for where you want to go with your card. I'm going to use it as rough inspiration for the card. So pick a design you like, whether it is something in your home, something in a painting, anything you can think of, and either print it out or have it in the room with you while you're working on it. Now you'll probably notice tip number three is that I have picked a fairly geometric image or a geometric idea to work with. And the reasoning behind that is because we're working with scrap paper, and you may not have die cuts available to you, and you may not have all the fancy materials, but geometric designs, you can do that with scissors, maybe a hole punch of some sort if you have one, but scissors will do. If you need a circle, you just take the medicine cap and trace around it and make a circle. Like, it is really easy to do with very few materials, and it's hopefully going to be amazing. Okay, tip number four is to have some sort of a fun extra bit that you could use if you wanted to. So in this case, I have a packet of really interesting textured paper that I'm actually considering using as that center stripe or something in my card, but it is something that's a little extra pop that brings everything together. Notice that it's in like a silver, so it goes with that gray and blush combo. I might use it, I might not, but I did want to have it available so that I can take it up a notch if I choose to. So tip number five is to have a selection of different cutting implements to use. Now, if all you've got is scissors, that's okay. But you can use, as I said before, medicine caps and things to trace around. And as far as triangles and that sort of thing goes, there are all sorts of things around your house that you can use to make shapes with. So have a selection of items available to you to make shapes with, and have it, you know, right at the ready as you're working. And a ruler doesn't hurt either. And last idea, always have a pencil. It can be erased if necessary, but it allows you to sort of pre-design what you want to do. And then I'm going to make this fast because I don't want you to have to sit with me for 20 minutes while I do this. Then you go to town and make yourself a card. And before I forget, don't forget the glue. Well, look at that. Turns out I didn't even need a card base. I had one already. Fantastic. Okay, quick pro tip with cards is that they look more expensive and more professional if they have a slight border around the front. Not all the time, but that's a really quick trick. If you want it to look a bit fancier, just make sure it has a border. So what I'm going to do is however big you want the border to be, you're going to multiply by 2. So if you want a 1/4 inch border, you multiply that number by 2. So 1/4 inch times 2 is 1/2 inch. And the dimensions of your card that goes on top, in order to have a border around it, you need to take whatever number this is and subtract 1/2 inch from both sides. And that will give you a perfect 1/4 inch border. So in my case, I have 6 inches by 4¼ inches. So that means I need it to be 5½ inches by 3¾ inches. Use this as a background. There you go. A perfect 1/4 inch border all the way around. And then you just glue it down when you're ready. Another pro tip, don't glue it down before decorating it. Because what if you have to cut a little bit off the edge? You're not going to be able to do that onto the border. So we're going to put the card away, and now we're going to be decorating on this main piece of paper. Another quick tip, always make anything that needs to be the length of the card slightly longer because too short looks bad. It's too short. So you always want it to be slightly longer, or rather than exactly the same size, because you can just trim it off after you've glued it down. A fun and quick tip about triangles is that you can make a square and then cut from one corner to the other side, and it's an insta perfect triangle. Just makes for easier measuring. I once heard a wood craftsman say that the most important part of your workshop is your template, and that is so true. So I've created roughly a half circle template, and I'm using it to make all of the half circles the same size. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't even matter if your first one is perfect, because if they're all the same, then no one will care, because it looks like you meant to do that. Okay, once it's dry, and this isn't quite dry, so hopefully it'll behave, just trim off any of the excess. If it is starting to wrinkle up on you a little bit, sometimes white glue particularly can do that. Just hold it down with a heavy book. Make sure you put some wax paper or something between the book and your finished work so they don't stick together. And I decided to go with a vertical card here. And last minute, I do want to enhance that just a slight bit more. So that's a 1/4 inch border. I'm going to go with an 1/8 of an inch border. So you do that by subtracting 1/4 of an inch from each of the dimensions, rather than a 1/2 an inch. Okay, there's my final card. As you can see, it's not exactly the same as my inspiration. That wasn't the idea. The idea is to get a general feeling for what you want and then be super creative with the process. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with for your inspiration and also for your final card. And in the meantime, please subscribe and come back again for the next video. If you liked where this came from and this is your first video from Origami Twist, I have hundreds more, just surpassed 200 videos. So you are more than welcome to check any of those out, and please enjoy. Have a great day, you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.